another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. For her sins have reached into heaven, and God hath remembered her iniquities. Reward her even if she has rewarded you, and double unto her according to her works. And the cup which she filled to her double.
Shalom, shalom, Israel. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise, glory, and honor to the Most High God, YHWH, in the name of His only begotten Son, YHWH. My brother YHWH from 12 Gates Israelite School, here in the Inland Empire, California. Just coming out with a quick message today. Don't really have a title for it, just kind of understanding, just going through some scriptures and kind of understanding things that we can kind of be doing for ourselves, to better ourselves, and also to just, I don't have very many scriptures written. It's just understanding what they're going through and see how we can elaborate on that. First, I'd like to start with the book of Zephaniah, chapter 2, verse 1. And this is one that a lot of people everybody should know this one already. It's not, it's one that most schools go to, and it's got a certain purpose to it. It's something we don't really do in today's times. And which reads, this is the book of Zephaniah, chapter 2, verse 1. Gather yourselves together, yea, gather together, O nation not desired. And kind of that verse right there alone, it kind of tells you why we should gather ourselves together. Because apparently we're not desired. And we look around, we could see that in our communities. We go out into these streets and highways and byways to teach on Shabbats, on Sabbaths. We could see the condition of our people. We're that nation that's not desired. Nobody's helping us. Nobody's giving us, nothing really, laws or anything. You see other nations receiving such things, but us, and since the invasion of these people, we've gotten nothing back from them. And yet we look at them, as try to fit in. Instead of, like it says, gather together. We go to their churches, we go to their, those religious facilities that they've created that are not according to the word that we're supposed to be reading, that was actually given to us. So it says gather together. Like I said, we don't see too much of that. We do now because there's actually few Israelite camps out there, and all praise the Most High, we could see those. We can go to YouTube and catch some of those other camps. We can drive around and we can look out on the streets and actually pay attention, and we can actually see these Israelites standing out there in the corners and the highways and teaching, bringing people together, gathering themselves, and they're trying to gather also other people. So we are supposed to gather together because, like I said, we're that nation not desired. We need the desire of ourselves. We need to get that brotherhood going. We need to, just lift ourselves up because nobody else has ever done that. But continuing, since nobody else has done that, we can see that nobody else has done that, and we'll jump over to the book of Amos, chapter 3 and 3. Right? Chapter 3 and 3, which reads, can two walk together except they be agreed? I mean, as I said, we see the condition of our people, and then we see the condition of these other nations that have come here, taken over our neighborhoods, cities basically. In general, we have all these nations that own basically the banks, every other institution of health and stuff. We got to go to them, stores and all that. So apparently, they've never put us in they've never joined us into what they got going, what they made for themselves. Instead, they just keep taking and taking. So apparently we haven't been walking together, but yet they try to sell us on this equality thing. I don't know who can buy into that. But it says, can two walk together except they be agreed? I don't know about y'all, but I don't agree to the condition of our people that they've been systematically put in. The system wasn't made for us, and we can plainly see that in our condition that we live in as blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. we suffer those consequences. We can see all these other nations that don't. Like I said, they got the banks, they got jewelry stores, they got grocery stores, they own everything since their invasion, since they've gotten here. So I have not been in agreement, so we cannot walk together, Israel. As I started off, we need to gather together ourselves, the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. And because we need to stop looking at these people like they're actually going to help us one day. You know, I see that and just like in most religious institutions that they can come together there thinking that, oh, you know, that I don't even, you know, we're together here, we can share this love or whatever, but there's really no equality, you know, outside of that, even inside of that, because they sit separately, you know, even in the churches I've noticed. So we'll go now to Lamentations, the book of Lamentations, Ezekiel, Lamentations, name is Ezekiel, Jeremiah, Lamentations. Okay, we'll go to Lamentations 4:17, which reads, "As for us, our eyes yet failed for our vain help." So we've thought of things that have been vain in the way that they can help us. You know, we look to money, we look to the other nations, we look to things that really have no outcome in them, really, that's going to lead you into any real happiness. Our vain help. In our watching, we have watched for a nation that could not save us. Like I said, we go to these other churches and stuff, and who else is there? Why would you congregate with people that have done nothing but rape, rob, and murder from your people? And now we get to somehow just watch their offspring just walk alongside of us, have no shame, have no guilt, have no remorse, or even show it. All of a sudden we're equal. And that just doesn't fly. That just doesn't make any sense. There's no way anybody's heart really feels like that. Deep down, you know, there's got to be some kind of awkwardness sometimes that comes about when two nations are together when they really shouldn't be. There's that thing being in the back of your mind. I know it because I felt it. I used to go to those churches and I used to try to play, you know, I used to try to just talk to them, fit in, try to fit in. But back in the back of my mind, I knew nothing was working. I knew they were still going to go to their high places and I was still going to go to my place where I had to live, where I was forced to live. You know, they could pick and choose wherever they want to live. They got all the money and stuff. They create their system. So we look to these nations that cannot save us. They never will save us. They put us in reservations instead. You know, they do all sorts of evil wickedness. Section 8s, where they separate families and stuff. That's all their system they do just to keep us under control. And it's not just that they do that. They got that from somewhere. You know, they've read our book and they know where things are coming from. They know how to keep us down. What they need to do to, you know, so they can have the condition that they're in. So they can be above and not at the bottom. They know what they have to do, and what they got it from our book. They got it from our book. They've read our letters and our instructions of what not to do, and they turned it on us to make us do that. So we'll go to Psalms. An example of that is Psalms 83. Psalms 83, right, I wrote down. In Psalms 83, it tells us, the book tells us, the scriptures tell us, our forefathers have warned us, you know, this isn't, man, if we can't get this, I don't know, we just need to read for ourselves and stop going to these churches and getting brainwashed. Verse, Psalms 83, we'll start at 2. Psalms 83, verse 2. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. As I just said, you know, they've come together, all these other nations, they've come into our cities, in our towns, in our streets even now, and they got these little neighborhood watch things going, you know what I mean? They got the business wherever they watch out, where they get a security guard that comes around their businesses to help them mainly. So they they made a tumult, and it says they hate us, and we could see that they hate us for invading as such. It continues on 3. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. So they take a crafty counsel. They go within themselves. They have these town hall meetings amongst themselves, because we don't really care about that, you know. We already kind of are conditioned to just be stable with what we have, be content with what we have. So we don't go to these town hall meetings mostly. So there they go and they make their crafty counsels within themselves. And they try to come up with ways, they make ways to get over us, you know, to keep us in our condition. To where they say we can walk together, but they don't make it any way possible to. You know, and it's just it gets difficult at times to do that. To just walking down the street and see these people and know that they really don't like you. They don't even look at you. They don't really wave. They don't greet you in any form. They know that you're where you're supposed to be, and they're where they're supposed to be. So they ain't gonna, you know, buck the system or whatever. They're gonna stay with that. And that's just so wrong, because them knowing what they're doing, like I said before, they don't show no remorse to this day. They don't even consider that they do anything wrong when you talk to these invading pilgrim anchor babies of today, you know? It's like they don't consider, just as we don't consider, as it says in the scriptures. Israel doesn't consider who we actually are. They don't even want to consider themselves either, that they've actually done so much wrong, that they are actually those people that we've been forewarned about. And we're going to go into another from the Apocrypha, another one of my favorite that says that kind of same thing too, that they know what they're doing. Oh, praise the Most High, open right to it. And it says the same thing, that they know what they're doing, you know, how to keep us in that condition of being homeless, being drug addicts, being, you know, two-parent families, just where the parents aren't unified. There's a condition that they do for that. And they know how to do that. And they know that who they are and who we are. And the book of Judith, chapter 5, verse 20, powerful book of Judith too, it says, "But if there be no iniquity in their nation, let my Lord now pass by, lest their Lord defend them, and their God be for them, and we become a reproach before all the world." So they took that to heart, and this is what they've been doing, is they have made ways to where we just keep sinning. So the Lord is not with us. They know whose God is actually up there. They know whose people God's people are down here. They just don't want to. They give us clues, but they don't tell us out front. And this is where we got to gather again together. You know, you don't have to find a camp. You can watch videos. You can get understanding from maybe one of your neighbors that's an Israelite, but it needs to be an Israelite. Everybody else is just going to confuse you. All these other nations are just going to play on you. They're just going to con you, because they know that if you, and we'll start at 20 actually. "Now therefore, my Lord and Governor, if there be any error in this people," that's what I mean, "and they sin against their power," so see their God, "let us consider that this shall be their ruin, and let us go up, and we shall overcome them." So that's what I meant to start off with. Yeah, let us. Now they said, if there be any error in this people, and we can look around, you know, they know who this people is. They try to put these people in those conditions. So they know who this people is that they can do this to. Come, and then it says, if there be error in them, they know what our sin could be. They've read this book, as I told you, and they bring all that out to us. You know, even the simple things. Shave your beard, you know, eat that pork, take all those crustacean animals and think they're delicacies. You know, they know that all that is wrong, but they're going to sell it to us as something good from them. It's like like they're gonna save us. We look to these people and accept the crap that they actually feed us. We just willingly just accept that. Israel, why? Doesn't get it to me. And this people, and they sin against their Lord, their God, let us consider that there shall be their ruin. We see our ruin, Israel. Because why? Because we are sinning against our power. We don't do his laws, statutes, and commandments as we were told to do, as our forefathers were told to do, which is why we've continually been in this condition. But now we got people out there, we got people in the wide world web, whatever, that, we can come together with, that can actually explain this Bible to us. They can actually make it make sense. The churches out there just basically, what is it? The churches out there against Israel, they don't like us to come together. Their pastors say all kinds of wickedness and just try to, play on you. The church is not giving you the truth. The truth is found in the Bible, in this word that you can freely read. Pastors, all they're selling you is just lies. And you willingly pay for them, giving those tithes every week, taking away from things you should be actually putting that money to, maybe even. It's not even money that the Bible even requires of you as a tithe, That's the thing, Israel. We've been conditioned. We've been, these people have read our blueprint of how we should live our lives, and they've gone everything against it. They've sold everything against it. They've sold everything against it, and they made us go against it. So it's like, we need to know ourselves, first and foremost, that we are an Israelite, you black, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Especially, those people that are in those conditions, man. We see you, brothers. We want so much better for all of us. We all need to know how to do that. We need to first come together ourselves, because we can't walk with these other people. They've clearly shown us that. They've kicked us to the other side of the street. They kicked us out of the city. They've, put us in reservations. They've made their own walled communities or gated communities, whatever, They literally don't want to walk with us. So this is a nation that continually makes laws for us to break, or just gives us the extent of those laws. Worse punishments than they do for their own people. So Israel, gather together and all come back to these laws, statutes, and commandments. This is your brother YHWH from 12 Gates Israelite School in the Inland Empire, saying Shalom, Kwam Yasharallah.